If you've ever watched a video about Japan, you've seen it. The convenience store, the Konbini, perfect egg sandwiches, spotless floors, hot fried chicken at 2 in the morning. Foreign tourists film themselves crying over the onigiri. And they're right. Japanese convenience stores are amazing. I just want to show you the other side of the counter, because I didn't just shop at one. For years, I worked the night shift at one. And then I made the biggest financial mistake of my life. I bought one. If you saw my first episode, you know me as Ken, the salesman who visits auto parts factories in Toyota's supply chain every week. But that's my job now. Before this career, I did a lot of things. And one chapter of my life belongs entirely to the convenience store industry. First, as the guy behind the register at 3 a.m., and later as the guy whose name was on the franchise contract. Everything I'm about to tell you comes from my own experience. I won't name the chain. I won't say the city. But the system I'm going to describe, in my experience, it works the same way across this whole industry. Let's start at 10 p.m. That's when my shift began. 10 at night to 6 in the morning. Now, here's the first thing foreigners get wrong about Konbini work. People imagine the night shift is easy. The store is empty, right? You stand at the register, maybe read a magazine, wait for the sun to come up. No. In my experience, the night shift does almost everything the day shift does. Register, restocking, placing orders for the next delivery, receiving the trucks that arrive in the middle of the night, frying chicken, and cleaning. So much cleaning. The floors, the shelves, the fryer, the toilet. If a Japanese konbini looks spotless at 8 a.m., it's because somebody spent the night making it spotless. That somebody was me. And then there are the customers. Daytime customers buy a coffee and leave. Night customers are a different species. I've had customers fall asleep standing up in the aisle. I've had customers throw up in the middle of the store, which, by the way, becomes your cleaning job immediately at 3 a.m. I've caught a guy who slipped into the back room and was just sitting there, eating snacks straight out of our inventory boxes. Not shoplifting and running, dining in. I've had customers walk into the store who, let's say, they urgently needed the bathroom, and they did not make it. I'll spare you the details. The floor did not spare me. And there was a regular who would take adult magazines off the rack and bring them into the toilet. Every time. We all knew. There was nothing in the manual for that. Here's the thing though. You're alone, or with one other person, all night. Whatever walks through that door at 3 a.m., you handle it. There's no manager to call. You are the manager, the cleaner, the cook, and security. I did that for years. And honestly, I thought I understood the konbini business. I understood nothing. One day, someone I knew told me convenience store owners make good money. It sounded logical. The store is always busy. Products fly off the shelves. The brand is famous, and I already knew the operations inside and out. I'd been running night shifts for years, so I signed a franchise contract. If any sentence in this video deserves dramatic music, it's that one. Let me explain what I learned, in my experience, about how konbini franchise economics actually work. Because from the outside, nobody sees this. First, the royalty. As a franchise owner, you don't keep your profit. The headquarters takes a royalty. And depending on your contract, in my experience, it lands somewhere between 30 and 60% of your gross profit. Not of what's left after all your costs. Of your gross profit, before you've paid your staff, your utilities, yourself. Second, the waste. This is the part that shocked me the most. Konbini sell fresh food. Bento boxes, sandwiches, fried chicken. Fresh food expires. Expired food gets thrown away. Guess who pays for the food that gets thrown away? Not the headquarters, the owner. Under the accounting method used in these contracts, in my experience, the cost of wasted food falls almost entirely on the owner's side, while the royalty is calculated in a way that doesn't fully reflect that loss. So every evening, I'd stand in front of a shelf of perfectly good bento boxes, throwing them into a garbage bag, knowing every single one was my money. And I couldn't simply order less. The headquarters wants full shelves. Empty shelves are bad for the brand. The brand doesn't pay for the waste. I did. Third, shoplifting. Same logic. Someone steals from the store. That's the owner's loss. The system doesn't share that pain. Fourth, 24 hours, 365 days. The contract says the store stays open. Always. New Year's Day. Typhoon. It doesn't matter. Now combine that with Japan's labor shortage. When a night shift worker quits, and they quit, believe me, you can't just close for the night. So who covers the shift? You do. The owner. I've done stretches where I worked the register at night and did the owner's paperwork in the day. There is no day off written anywhere in that lifestyle. The store must stay open, so the owner becomes the human buffer for every gap in the schedule. And here's the engine underneath all of it. The reason headquarters and I could never be on the same side. Go back to the royalty for a second. Headquarters takes its cut from the store's gross profit. And because of the way Konbini accounting works, in my experience, the food I threw away barely enters that calculation. They collect their royalty on what the store sells. The loss on what doesn't sell, that's mine. Now think about what each of us actually wants. Headquarters wants sales. Full shelves, more stock, more chances to ring something up. And above all, no lost sale. Their nightmare isn't a pile of wasted food. It's a customer walking in, not finding what they came for, and leaving. A missed sale. I wanted profit, and profit meant ordering less, so I wasn't throwing my own money into a garbage bag every single night. You can already see the problem. To headquarters, in my experience, it can be perfectly logical to push a store to order more stock to capture one extra sale. Even if chasing that single sale buries the owner in many times its value in wasted food. Because the sale earns them a royalty. And the waste? The waste costs them nothing. It costs me. Headquarters chases revenue. The owner chases profit. In the Konbini system, in my experience, those two things don't just differ. They point in opposite directions. That conflict isn't a bug in the relationship. It's written into the contract. So did I make money? Here's the honest answer. And it's more complicated than you might expect. My first 2 years, I lost money. Flat out. In the red. After that, I did start turning a profit. But let me tell you how I did it, because this is the real lesson. To make that store profitable, in my experience, I had to quietly go to war with my own headquarters. I ordered less stock than they wanted to cut my waste, even though empty shelves went against the brand they were pushing. I ran the thinnest staff I could, and I personally filled every gap in the schedule, working the counter myself, so I didn't have to pay anyone. Almost every move that put money in my pocket was a move headquarters did not want me to make. Their interests and mine pointed in opposite directions. And after all of that, the fighting, the unpaid shifts, the bare minimum ordering, what did I actually take home? Somewhere around $1,500 to $2,000 a month, while still paying back the money I'd borrowed to stock the store on opening day. That was the prize, a barely livable wage for running a business 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, at war with the company whose sign hung over my door. So when I say the Konbini runs on the owner's sacrifice, I don't mean owners can't survive. Some do. I did, eventually. What I mean is this: the only way to survive is to grind yourself, your staff, and your relationship with headquarters down to the bone. And even then, in my experience, the reward is the kind of money a part-time worker could earn without any of the risk, the debt, or the sleepless nights. Eventually, the 24 hours a day, never a single day off reality wore me down. I handed the store back. Here's what I want you to take from this. Japanese convenience stores really are one of the wonders of modern life. Open every hour of every day. Fresh food, clean floors, anything you need, 200 meters from your door. But that convenience isn't free. It has a cost. And in my experience, the system is built so that the cost lands on one person, the owner. The convenience you enjoy at 3 a.m. exists because somewhere behind that counter, there's an owner covering a shift nobody else would take, throwing away food he paid for, and sending half his gross profit to a headquarters that never mops a floor. The Konbini is a miracle. The business model behind it runs on somebody's sacrifice. Next time you bite into that perfect 3 a.m. fried chicken, it's delicious. Enjoy it. Just know that it cost more than what you paid at the register. Now, the Konbini was not my strangest workplace, not even close. Next time, I'm taking you inside an industry worth more than the entire global movie business combined, that most people outside Japan have never even heard of. Pachinko. I worked in it. That's the next episode. I'm Ken. These days, I sell software to Japan's auto parts factories, and I make these videos so you can see what business in Japan actually looks like, not the textbook version. If that sounds interesting, subscribe. And if you've got questions about how Japanese companies really work, ask in the comments. I read them on the train between customer visits. See you in the next one.